Some thrilling action at lightweight here. Gary Hibbert against Anthony Maynard. Thriller-minute stuff.
Well, this is an interesting-looking fight between Gary Hibbert of Oldham in the blue trunks, Anthony Maynard of Birmingham in the black. A crossroads fight, really, for two recent losing title challengers. Maynard, though, just rebuilt a little with a good win over Chris Barnett in November. So would he be favourite? I don't know. Gary Hibbert had a Commonwealth title loss against David Burke here. Just lost his way a little bit after a good run. But the winner here might be able to just find some fresh momentum to their career. Quite a hard one to pick, Jim, really.
Is it? They're both at the same stage of their careers, if you like. 28 years old, 31. There are younger fighters in the division rated above them, so it's a difficult spot to find themselves in, but it's a good match.
Hibbert, who's from Oldham, in fact, he was on Oldham Athletics School of Excellence books and wanted to be a young footballer, but boxing won out in the end. Maynard, who's an electrician out of the ring, says he doesn't need the money, but still feels there's unfinished business about his boxing career, which is why he's still in there trying to make something of it, even though it's late-ish in the day for him.
Hibbert was a fighter I liked the look of a couple of years ago. I thought he'd have made a move by now. I know he boxed Burke for the Commonwealth title recently, but I don't think he was in the right frame of mind. He was his sparring partner one week and the challenger the next. I don't think he got his mind on that job properly.
Yeah, it was a late notice job, wasn't it, as I recall?
Yeah, and he boxed behind Burke, to be honest. I think he's maybe taken the job for a nice couple of quid, hopefully. I don't think he believed in himself. I think he's better than that, and there's always a chance he'll get a return there.
Harder to explain for Hibbert was the loss to Andrei Devyatharkin, the, well, ordinary-looking Russian, really. He was floored and lost that in the fourth round of a curious performance, and that was after a run of stoppage wins, too. So he's blown hot and cold a bit, Hibbert, in the blue trunks, remember, here. Little right hand there from Maynard, landing around the temple of Hibbert. It's pretty fired up for this Hibbert, I must say. He's got a lot of fans in the arena. Hibbert actually had a win over Jason Cook, the recent European champion, in the amateurs, which looks okay now, doesn't it? Second round in this little sixth round. It seems a short distance, really, for these two at this stage of their careers. Of course, Maynard lost in 70 seconds on his big night for the British title against Bobby Vanzy in 2001. And he also lost on points to Liverpool's David Burke as well. It seemed pretty major setbacks. Maynard 17-6 at the moment in his career. Maynard maybe just a little behind in the work rate stakes in these early stages here.
Yeah, I felt that in the first round. Hibbert just a little bit sharper, a little bit more compact.
Quite messy on the inside. Might be a question of who can do the most effective work when they do get in there. Good body shot, that, and then a right hand. Some class there from Hibbert, who does look the sharper of these two in the early stages.
Yeah, well, definitely looks much more confident tonight than he did against Burke. This is more like what I would expect from him.
It might be down to the old cliched question about who wants it most at this late stage in their careers. How much ambition and desire is left?
Well, Hibbert and Bobby Vanzie would be a decent match. Things aren't going too well for Vanzie at the moment, so that wouldn't be a bad match maybe for in the near future. But he has to get through this one first.
Vanzie, who still has the British title, is supposed to defend it against John Thaxton, who won't stand aside. But can Vanzie make lightweight anymore? That's another question, a big one, I think. He says he can. The rest of us doubt it. Simultaneous hooks.
Break! One step back. Break, let's say so, lads.
It's one of these, isn't it, this one, Jim, where you wonder where the loser goes afterwards.
Yeah, that's the big problem. They've both lost at title level, so they don't want to be losing again. We've got to call this 6-round level. I know that they're far above that.
Good jab from Hibbert, who started well here. I think he shaded the first round. The second's been a bit more emphatic for him. It's the second round of this one. Beg your pardon, third. Blue trunks of Gary Hibbert. Good left hook. Nailed Maynard with that over on the far ropes. He looks to me like he wants this quite a bit, Gary Hibbert. He looks like he wants to get his career right back on track. He's a fellow who's had a few setbacks along the way with neck injuries, and he had a cruciate knee injury as well, which is what a lot of the footballers suffer from. Keeps you out for about a year.
And he's a good solid look about him tonight. His defences are nice and tight. Maynard's defence is letting him down here and there. And he's always keen to make the first move, just take the initiative. Yep, boxing well.
And at the moment, Maynard just struggling to stay with him. I remember Maynard complaining once on in his career when we said he didn't really have too much power, and he was saying, well, you ask the people in the gym how much power I've got. But his record doesn't suggest it.
No, unfortunately, the gym doesn't count. We all know people who would be world champion if they could have scored the gym work. But doing it on the night, in the ring, that's what counts.
Six of Maynard's 17 wins have come inside schedule. Right hand again there, and down goes Maynard. It's just a push by the look of it.
I wonder if that could have been a knockdown.
Well, he looked a bit dazed afterwards, so it was hard to see, to be honest with you. I'd like to look at that again.
Well, I think Maynard expected a count there himself.
Yeah. He did. He looked like he did, didn't he? And his eyes just seemed to be swimming a little. Hibbert's got him certainly under pressure here, using his elbow there and clubbing him with the right hand. Oh, and big punches going in from Hibbert there. And Maynard has to show a lot of grit to stay upright. Holds on, tries to buy time, but Hibbert is right on top now.
He's hanging on for grim death, Maynard, and he's quite right, but he's lost his way here.
This is a bad, bad round for Anthony Maynard, who stumbles backwards a little. You can sense that Hibbert feels strong and feels he can get the stoppage win. Countering right wasn't a bad effort from Maynard amid the fury facing him. And again, Hibbert walked onto one. And then he threw a left hand after the ref had said break, and I do believe it was deliberate. Well, interesting. Should that have been scored a knockdown, we wonder, because we thought it was a push, but then Maynard looked quite dazed when he went down, didn't he?
I think a right hand landed just before the push, and I think he was caught square-footed, and I think there's every chance that was the right hand. So you can see his legs going here. Call that a knockdown. I've actually scored that a 10-8 round anyway, but that for me was a knockdown. His legs had gone from the punch. There his legs go. You can see that. Yeah. He was going over whether the push Or not? That definite knockdown.
Yeah, spot on, Jim. It definitely should have been scored as a knockdown. You could see how the referee might have got confused by the last bit of the instalment there. There it was, the right, and then he fell with a little push at the end of it, but I think Hibbert was done out of that a bit. Fourth round. He was a cracking right hand on the blind side from us, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, we'll see if Hibbert picks up where he left off, and we'll see if Maynard's head has cleared, because for the rest of that round, he still seemed a little bit concussed.
Hibbert here looks like a fighter who still believes he can get back into domestic championship contention.
This is as good as I've seen him for quite some time now. This is the kind of form he showed the first couple of times. I saw him box and I expected big things of him. 28 now, well, it's now time to make the move.
Sometime carpet fitter Gary Hibbert. Seems to be a popular occupation for boxers in the north. Ricky Hatton used to do that, didn't he?
I remember, to digress, I did an advert when I was boxing for a carpet company, and they said they had floored more people than I had, but I don't think that was too difficult, to be honest.
As long as it wasn't a canvas company. Hibbert maybe just feeling here he needs to pick the punches.
Well, he knows he has the power to turn it around with one shot, so he has that confidence, and he's really boxing well. Everything nice and tight, nice and compact.
Maynard's been to a bad place in this fight. Can he stage any kind of recovery? I'll tell you what, if he comes up with a win from here, it'd be some performance, wouldn't it?
Well, I scored the last round 10-8. I mean, even without the knockdown, it was so one-sided, but the fact that it should have been a knockdown, then a definite 10-8 round.
I bet the ref didn't know.
Don't think he would.
No.
Watch your heads! Watch your heads!
Referee screaming at the two fighters, watch your heads. And I must say, Hibbert's been pretty free with the elbow, and the referee's not really pulled him up on that too often.
I think some of the blame has to go to Maynard, because he's holding so much up close. He's not holding at the moment, but there he goes again. You can see him tangling up the elbows. He doesn't really want to work up close. He wants to slow the pace down a little bit. I think once or twice Hibbert's become a little bit frustrated with that.
Decent right uppercut from Hibbert, and then the left hook back from Maynard, who's shown some grit here. He's trying everything he knows to try to get back in this somehow. Oh, big shot! Big shot from Maynard. He's backing it now, all right. And will Hibbert be able to beat the count here? Counts at 6 and he's staggered. He might be stuck on his feet here. He's wobbling. Oh, the bell was a symphony, a concerto for Gary Hibbert there. It's got him out of trouble, but will a minute be enough?
And this is down to fitness now. If he's in the best of shape, as he looks in the best of shape, then he will throw the effects of that. But that was the beauty. That was a definite stoppage. He could not have continued. His eyes were all over the place. I'm looking in the corner now. He looks okay. He's answering his seconds. He looks alert. And that was a real shaker. That will severely have dented his confidence. Everything going well, everything going perfectly well. Then one punch out of the blue. And it goes bang left, bang onto the jaw, unprotected jaw. Beautiful punch. Did well to get on his feet as early as he did, but you can see no defences whatsoever. Bang. Quite fortunate he hit the floor straight away, knocking onto the ropes, and he'd have taken another 3 or 4 punches. But straight onto the floor, so that means just the one big hit's done it. Maybe he can recover from this.
Dramatic stuff here. 5th round of this one. And the crowd, many of whom were on their feet because the place is packed anyway to begin with, as Maynard gets in with another left hook. I tell you what, Hibbert, is he over the knockdown? I'm not sure he is. Getting caught with the right hand. Maynard is throwing everything at him. Referee looks like he's thinking of stepping in here to save Gary Hibbert, who must throw some leather and fast. It's the stormer now.
He has to throw punches or he has to grab hold of Maynard, but he's just standing there doing nothing. He's doing neither. He has to do one of those things. maybe his head is just beginning to clear now.
Every second is vital here for Gary Hibbert, who was leading in the fight until Maynard came up with that equaliser. Has to buy time, still looks unsteady to me on his legs.
I think Maynard has used a little bit of steam up there as well. He probably wants to get a breath now just to get himself back together.
Can Hibbert come through the crisis? So far, so good for him in this round, although he was on the very brink of being stopped. He gets another left hook for his trouble as they work in close. Maynard senses this is his chance. These are big, big moments in the careers of both of these guys.
Yeah, but I think Maynard is blowing a little bit now. Put an awful lot into the attack. They're thinking he was one punch away from victory.
I think he was too. And look at Hibbert here now. Tribute to his conditioning. If he does manage to emerge the other side of the fog. Now, I'm afraid some of the glove bandaging has worked loose from Hibbert. That might mean we get a timeout, and that would work in his favour. Good stuff, this, as Hibbert comes back. I think he's punched out for the moment, Maynard, isn't he?
That's what's happened, yeah. He just put too much into that attack, which he thought was going to finish the job, and he's really blowing a bit. Still probably working enough in this round to win it, but how much steam has he used up, and what depth of stamina does he have to call upon?
Time out because of that loose bandage on the glove. That's a shame, really, because it was intense action. I think I might have taken a bit more time if I was in the corner to do that. Although he's over the worst by the look of it. Great uppercut on the inside. Hibbert this time. Suddenly Maynard's the one who looks the more tired. Crowd loving this, and I'm not surprised.
Listen, you go in with your hands up, you're listening, rolling your head.
Place.
Right?
Place.
Bob Shannon doing the talking to Gary Hibbert, who came through when it looked like he was on the very brink of being stopped. And they're still around to go, Jim.
Tremendous. He must be in tremendous shape to throw the effects of that punch. That was a round of two halves. Definitely Maynard big in the first half of the round, and Hibbert coming back again. But he was putting everything he had into these punches. He knew one clean shot could possibly finish this job, but he couldn't land the clean shot. The ones he did land, Hibbert was able to take them. He used so much steam up at this part, he had nothing left for the second half of the round, where Hibbert began to take over a little bit. So now we're down to survival of the fittest and the strongest here.
And this could come down to whether or not the knockdown by Hibbert should or shouldn't have counted earlier on, because it's tight on the cards, I reckon, this now.
Well, I've given him the knockdown in my card, but I'm sure the referee hasn't.
He won't have done, because he didn't count it, did he? Left hook, good shot, Hibbert. Could well come down to who wins this last round, I think, this now.
Bandage is off again.
Another timeout. You see, on my card, I've scored the third round 10-9 because I think that's what the ref will do. I agree with you, though, Jim. It was a knockdown. So I've got it dead level.
Well, it was a big round, even if you forget about the knockdown, so I don't feel so bad scoring it 10-8. Now that we know for a fact it was a knockdown, but still, as you say, everything could hinge on this last round.
So let's see who does the better work. Just missed with the right cross, didn't he, Maynard? It whistled past the end of the chin of Hibbert. Hibbert just beginning to come on strong again. He was dominant for the first 3 rounds.
I think he pretty much had the job done until that knockdown, that punch landed on Hibbert's chin. And that really bred an awful lot of life into Maynard's work, but he hasn't been able to sustain it.
Normal service resumed for Gary Hibbert. Let's see. Body shot gets there for him. Has Maynard got another surprise in store for us? See, he told you he could punch.
Well, we'll have to, a letter of apologies in the post.
Yeah.
Probably countersigned by Gary Hibbert.
All right hand, Maynard. Getting a bit untidy. Referee needs to get in there, keep the action clean if he can in this vital last round. There's going to have to be another timeout because that bandage has worked its way very loose again. What a nuisance that is. Body shot, good one. Seemed to knock something out of Maynard, who sagged for a moment after it landed. That left-hand body shot from Gary Hibbert. Terrific fight, isn't it, for a six-rounder?
Tremendous fight. I mean, these are two guys who, obviously, I mean, Maynard's saying he doesn't really need the money. He must need the money to fight like this. He's really putting himself on the line here.
Well, they've both been a credit here. Hibbert doing the better work, and the body shot has put Maynard down, and that could well decide it. No, he says he's protesting that it wasn't an authentic knockdown.
And this time, believe it or not, I don't want to be contrarian, but I agree with him. I thought that was definitely a push. But still, it evens things up, if you like.
I don't know whether it was a delayed action thing because of the body shot. It is a draw. It is scored a draw. Well, that does surprise me slightly because I think with the knockdown in the last round, Hibbert did win it. But Maynard's shaking his head. But it was a rattling good fight. Tremendous fight
it was. I mean, it almost looked like an eliminator for a British title, but I had Hibbert a fairly clear winner. Tough fight all the way through. Here we go. Body punch landed, he's ducked down, he's grabbed hold. For me, Ian, that was definitely a push. That was not a knockdown.
Pushed him down.
But if the referee called it a knockdown, as you say, that should have made it a clear points victory for Hibbert. But I still had Hibbert winning anyway. But a tremendous battle.
That body shot there, he's buckling, and I don't know, I'm not sure, you know.
I wonder if he'd have gone down without the elbow on his shoulders. I don't know.
The fact of the matter is it was counted as a knockdown. The other one, which probably should have been counted as a knockdown, wasn't. So they kind of evened themselves out.
And that means the knockdown has given Hibbert a draw. So I find that hard to comprehend, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I think he won it, to be honest. But it's not one you'd argue long and hard about. Just sit back and enjoy it. Neither of them really deserve to lose. And it is a draw.
We can maybe see it all again. I don't think anybody will complain.
I've got a feeling we're going to see it again. Not tonight, though.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Phil Edwards has asked you to show your appreciation. That was 6 fantastic rounds of boxing. Credit to both boxers. He has scored 56 points to each boxer. We have a draw.